What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to give you the top 10 lowest recoil loadouts you can be using right now in Warzone 3. Now, these are going to be in no particular order, and I always recommend use what's most comfortable to you, because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to be pushing your enemies, and if you're not pushing your enemies, you're not getting more eliminations and wins, which is why we're here. Let's get you these loadouts. For this first set of loadouts, we're going to start out with some Modern Warfare 2 builds that I think you're really going to enjoy and that I think are a little bit underrated. We're going to have the HCR 56 LMG from Modern Warfare 2 and the TAC 56 from Modern Warfare 2. For this HCR, you want to go with the Bruen Tarraco 686mm barrel, the Bruen heavy support grip underbarrel, the Jack glassless optic, the Bruen TS30 comb, and the Stip 40 grip. Show this to you in the firing range here just so you can see how it reacts, but very little recoil and hits pretty hard. Next, we have that TAC 56. You're gonna go with the Zeman 35 compensated flash muzzle, the Tundra Pro barrel. I like the Bruen heavy support grip underbarrel here. If you don't like an optic on it, which I prefer an optic, is the Jack glassless optic. But if you don't have the optic, use the high grain rounds. Very, very solid choice. And then of course, we're going with the 60 round mag. As you can see, very, very little recoil. It's always had very little recoil, even in the Modern Warfare 2 days, but still holds up to that standard. For this next set of loadouts, I have the Bruen MK9 from here in Modern Warfare 3. And then I also have another Modern Warfare 2 AR that I think is very underrated, and that's the Castoff 545. For this Bruen, we're going with the Zeman 35 compensated flash muzzle, the XRK Horizon V2 barrel, the Bruen heavy support grip underbarrel, the 60 round mag, and I'm loving this Jack glassless optic. Show this to you here in the firing range. Very, very little recoil and a lot of fun to run. Then for that Castoff 545, I'm going with the Zeman 35 compensated flash muzzle, the IGK30 406mm barrel, the Bruen heavy support grip underbarrel, the Jack glassless optic, and that 60 round mag. Show this to you here in the firing range. Very little recoil again, and hits very, very hard, in my opinion. Next, we have the M13B from Modern Warfare 2 and the Holger 556 here from Modern Warfare 3. The Holger 556 honestly is number one when it comes to the AR category, when it comes to recoil control and TTK combined, but then the M13B is still a lot of fun to run. For this M13, we're going with the Zeman 35 compensated flash muzzle, the Bruen Echelon barrel, the Bruen heavy support grip underbarrel, the 60 round mag, and that Jack glassless optic. Show this to you here in the firing range. Man, just honestly, this is one of the closest things to zero recoil you can have in this game is the M13B. Then for that Holger 556, we're going with the Zeman 35 compensated flash muzzle, the Cryo 6 match barrel, the Bruen heavy support grip underbarrel, the Jack glassless optic, and it only comes with a 40 round mag. As you can see, again, very little recoil and hits very hard. Next up, we have the Ram 7 and the new SOA Subverter battle rifle. The new battle rifle has very little recoil and is one of the top options when it comes to long range weapons in this game. And then for the Ram 7, it's always been very easy to control and it has very little visual recoil as well, but you'll see that here in a second. For this Ram 7, we're going with the Zeman 35 compensated muzzle, the XRK Core Mark 40 heavy barrel, the Bruen heavy support grip underbarrel, the 60 round drum, and the HVS 3.4 pad. As you can see in the firing range, very easy to control and just so good. Then for that Subverter, we're going with the Zeman 35 muzzle, the Dozer 90 long barrel, the Bruen heavy support grip underbarrel, the 50 round drum, and the Jack glassless optic. Show this to you here in the firing range. Very easy to control the recoil on it and just hits really hard. For this next set of loadouts, we're going with the DG58 LSW and the MTZ 556. The DG58 LSW, when it comes to TTK, isn't the best, but when it comes to recoil control for LMGs, it's very good. Then for the MTZ 556, it's the closest thing to the MCW, I think. Just the TTK is a little better than the MCW, but both are very solid options. For this DG58, we're going with the Zeman 35 compensated flash muzzle, the Woody long barrel, the Bruen heavy support grip underbarrel. I like the butt plate stock here, along with that Jack glassless optic. I love this LMG. It's just very easy to control when it comes to the recoil. It just lacks in the TTK department. If this thing ever gets buffed at all when it comes to TTK and damage, it's going to be good. For that MTZ 5.56, we're going with the Zimmer 35 muzzle, the MTZ Drifter Heavy Long Barrel, the Bruen Heavy Support Grip Underbarrel. I like the Jag Glassless Optic again, and the 50 round drum. Show this to you here in the firing range. Very little recoil, very easy to control, and hits pretty solid at range as well. Another really fun LMG to run right now is the Holger 26. It has very little recoil as well. I think it hits a little harder than the DG58 and has almost the same recoil control as it. So try it out. Let me know what you think. But the Holger 26 is a lot of fun to run with that Zimmer 35 compensated flash muzzle, the Holger factory barrel, the Bruen Heavy Support Grip Underbarrel, the Jak Glassless Optic, and the Ascent Lord stock. Show this to you here in the firing range, but man, it's a lot of fun to run as well. Like I said, very little recoil, very little visual recoil anyway. And just it's pretty good. Then for this last set of loadouts, we have the BP50 and the MCW. The BP50 is a little bit harder to control when it comes to the range loadouts, but when it comes to mid-range and close range, it is very, very easy to control and has very, very little recoil. For that BP50, you want to go with the Zimmer 35 compensated flash muzzle, the Lore 9 heavy barrel, the Bruen Heavy Support Grip Underbarrel, the 45 round mag, and the Jak Glassless Optic. If you don't like an optic on it and you like the iron sights, go with this 4-bearer heavy stock. It gives it even less recoil and it makes it way easy to control. And at range, it's still not bad. It's just a little harder to control when you don't have an optic on it. Then the easiest, least amount of recoil you can have in the game is the MCW. Period, hands down. Can't argue with me about that, I feel like. But the MCW is just so much fun to run. Zimmer 35 compensated flash. Some of you say this thing does shoot marshmallows, but I don't think it does. It did get a buff, and it's a much needed buff. I don't think it's top tier meta, but I think it's very easy to use. And especially if you're a controller player and you don't get to play all the time. You're coming home from work, coming home from school, you don't get to play a ton. This is the easiest weapon to use and control, and it has a pretty high damage output. So then you were going with the Cyclone long barrel, the Bruen Heavy Support Grip Underbarrel, that Jag Glassless Optic, and the 60 round drum. Show this to you here in the firing range. This is my favorite AR to use when it comes to just low recoil. There's hardly any movement at all, and it's so easy to control. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that noti bell so you don't miss another video like this or like one of these. We'll see you in the next one.